Right, well, thanks for coming on, Veronika. It's really cool to have you on here and part of our channel. I mean, maybe we could start off with, like introducing yourself and where you're from and how you've gotten to where you are in SEO now.
Sure. So, hi, my name is Veronika. I'm based in Germany. I work for an international healthcare company. I'm in digital marketing area since 14 years right now. I've started as content creator, and then I had a job in a PPC agency. And from there, I started to go into SEO, and yeah, I found out it's my way. So I'm there for over 12 years. It's right now in SEO. Yes.
How long were you agency side before you decided to move in-house now?
Yes, it had switched. So I was in my career, I would say half-half. So 7 years on agency side and 7 years in-house. So sometimes I'm a in-house SEO and I think, yeah, I like this. And then I find out, oh my God, now I want to switch to an agency. Then I switch again. And then I'm on the agency side and I think I want to go back to the in-house side. So
Grass is
yeah,
greener on the other side. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, so yeah, so right now I'm on the in-house side again. So
What's
yeah,
it like at your current role? I know you're the senior SEO manager there at Compu
yes,
Group.
yes. I'm in my company. I'm in the Digital Marketing Center of Excellence in this department, and we make the global strategy and consulting for the other countries. We have 19 offices in 19 countries, and I'm there for the SEO strategy international. And I work with the departments in the countries on their strategy, on their content strategy, on their SEO strategy, and social media, and yeah.
It sounds like you're juggling a lot, like across like the different parts of marketing. Like how do you like prioritize and balance and work across all those different areas?
Yes, for me, SEO is not only to work on the website, on the technical side or content side or something like this. For me, it's if you want to have success, then you have make an omni-channel optimization. So PPC is
Yeah.
important if it lands on my website. Social media is important if it lands on my website. And in other countries, it's really important. Most companies make the mistake and have an overall digital marketing strategy. They write it down in their headquarter and they say, okay, this is your standard work, and you have to make it countrywide. And at this point, I see it completely different. So I make for each country a different strategy because they have other needs. So, for example, Switzerland and German has maybe the same language, but we are completely different in our culture and what we like. And so it's easy to see. I take a look on which platforms they use too and what they need, and I talk to them. And then it's really interesting. So the country is completely different because of the same language, but this is what most companies I think don't see, that you have to go in the country to see, okay, they are really active on social media, then you have to be there and the content must match with your website content. If there's a funny video on social media and they jump to the website and there's a static content, then they bounce. And so I think you have to put a little bit of social media on the website too, that the customer see, okay, yes, there's content on the social media platform, is also on the website. And from BPC, it's the same thing. So if you make advertising, but the customer don't find the content on the website, then they bounce, they don't convert. And so I try to make it really, yes, I try to see the needs of the country, and then we build a strategy. And the strategy includes all the channels.
It's really interesting. Like, definitely agree. Like, it's so important to have that consistency in brand, like across all channels. And nowadays, customers are smart enough to pick up if, like a brand isn't being authentic on one and it's not pulling through on other channels as well. What kind of like content strategies have you been working on recently? I think it'd be cool to like maybe go through an example of like how for the same kind of problem or topic, it's like maybe approached really differently in Switzerland versus Germany, or
Yes, it is. So you see, in other countries, in Germany, yes, the search queries are really complex. So you have users who type in a real or speak voice in the voice search a real complex questions. So if you create content, then you have to pick up these questions. You can see them in the Google Ads account, in the search queries. You can pick them up. You see them in the search engine in the most frequent questions. So they are really complex. They ask really long sentence, and it's important to pick this up in your content strategy to answer their questions. So we have always a really big FAQ session on the site. In Switzerland, for example, they don't like this. They have short, they are really clear. They have something like software for doctors in my area. And this is what they need. They need short things. So we have it really clear structured on the site. They have a contact form. They have a little bit with bullet points. They see, okay, these are the important things. They can download the brochure if they want to. They don't have to. And in Germany, for example, we have white paper. We have a checklist. We have a little bit more content. We have a video and we have infographics. So you see, we try to make multimedia content, so not only text on the sites, and then we try to catch up their intentions, what they need. So in France, for example, they like interactive sites, really jumping in the image. There must be really interactive content, and they like not too much, too long, and they want to see more images, and then we try to give them what they need. And this is really interesting because it's so different. In the Nordics, they are mobile. They are completely in a mobile world. And so we try, okay, it have to be clear on the mobile device, that they have not too much content, that they don't have too much images. So it must be, yes, the balance between the content sites. And it's really interesting. In Romania, for example, they love yes, images from the team, and they don't like byte content from images on the sites. So the site performs better if you have the team on the site, and they like also videos how it works in the office. So it's more like, okay, we know the people. And yes, in Germany they don't need this really, so they want the information, a lot of information, and they need a long time for a decision, and you see the ways are longer before they convert. So sometimes if you follow their conversion steps, yes, they need so much longer. And in Switzerland too. So in Germany you have much higher conversions, but it don't end in a project. And in Switzerland, if they convert, then it's most a project, for example. So it's really interesting to see how it works in the different countries.
that's interesting. So you're
Yeah.
actually working across like 16 different countries?
Yes.
Wow, that's a lot. How do you like keep track of all of that? And how would you be doing the strategies at the same time and then doing like 16 different, like, say, content strategies for them?
Yeah. So in my department, we have an analytics specialist. So in the Digital Marketing Center of Excellence, and we have also a PPC specialist too, and we have an e-commerce specialist. And so it's really nice. So I have this, yeah, wonderful people around, and then you can work on the strategy. And then, yes, it's a lot of work. So you have to prioritize which country is the most important at the moment. So bigger countries like France is important than a little country. But then we have nice talks, and yes, they listen and they work on their strategy too, and they are happy that there's somebody who, yes, who shows how you can make it. And yeah, it's a lot to do, of course, yes.
So I hadn't heard of like this digital marketing center for excellence before. Are you guys like marketing, like digital marketing programs, or what kind of service is
Yes,
that?
we are specialists on our area. So each from us are in his area the absolute specialist, and we are there, yes, for strategy and consulting. So in a few companies there are a digital marketing center of excellence, and yes, so for me it's the first time. I found the name funny as I started, so I don't know what
Yeah.
it means. So we said, okay, to our leader, why this name? It's long and complicated if you explain where you're working from. But he said, nah, Center of Excellence is something everybody knows. Okay.
So do you guys also do like consulting then?
Yes, for the other countries. Yes. So sometimes they only need a little bit consulting. So they only asked, okay, what can I do? They are really clear and know exactly what they need because they are in the country and it's their culture, it's their language, and they only need some help how to structure some things or how to create a landing page, for example, in my case. Then, what's important to be on the page, where do I place this and something like this. So it's not always that somebody needs a whole strategy and you started from the beginning. So
Yeah.
sometimes you only need a little bit help. And so we make workshops for them on.
It sounds like you'd be like doing international SEO. It's like all the time, pretty much, since you'd be thinking about all the different countries and the differences, how they interact with each other. Like what else would you say, like, have you found the most interesting about international SEO, or the most challenging as well?
Yes, the most challenging is on the tech side. I think it's to make clear if you have the same language for Google to say, oh, it's not German, it's a Switzerland site. It's Britain, it's not the USA, something like this. I think this is the most challenges because we have the domains, but sometimes, yeah, you know how it is. So it doesn't really work. So they're shown up a Switzerland site in the German searches and a UK site in the USA. So I think this is the most challenge to make the technical side really clear. And there I got support from an agency. They host our website because we're in the health sector, so all pages are hosted in Germany. So I think this is the most challenges to make the technical side clear. Yeah.
The things like with like hreflang and site
Yeah.
structure, the different languages of the content as well, or like different, yeah.
Yes. Yes. So what we made is we don't translate content, so they create always their own content in the countries. So for me, it was important not to make a translation, and they have to create their own content, and this helps. So okay, they say okay, but sometimes you have issues as like this. So yeah, and I think it will get better. So mom starting, so they will shown up each country. So I don't think it's more important to keep the technical side clear. It will get more important to have a really good content in your country. So Google
100%, yeah.
scroll. Mm.
is there like one part of, like SEO or the other areas that you also do, like PPC and social media marketing, that you enjoy the most, and how did you learn that?
So what I really enjoy is to see all these channels working together. So
Yeah.
yes, so um, I have learned PPC advertising in the agency. So we have make the certification from Google, for example, in the agency for Google AdWords and Microsoft advertising. SEO, it was learning by doing. So it's so funny because you are in the agency and you have clients in PPC and you see they have only 300 euros in months for advertising. And I thought, okay. And then I asked a colleague, I said, it's too less money for her business, but she can't buy more because she's a freelancer, for example. And then he said, yes, there's a possibility you can work on the SEO side. And I never heard it before at this point. And then, yes, so I jumped in, and today you have so many really good resources to learning SEO. So Aleda Solis, learning SEO, you have every step. You can start from the basics until, yeah, also it's amazing. So yes, I have made a diploma too, a digital marketing diploma certification, but I never learned so much as by doing exactly in SEO. So if you work with these platforms and social media is something, it comes with the paid search. So I know, yeah, 2010. Yes. Oh my God, this is a long time ago. So there were Facebook alerts. Yes. So Facebook jumps in and everybody wants to make there something. And yes. And then we said, okay, we build your fan page and we create ads. And so you jump in. And it's the same with LinkedIn. And in Germany, we have Sing. It's only in Germany, I think. But then so you jump in. Then Instagram is, it's always like, okay, we have to be there too. And then at the end, the platforms are really similar. So if you know how Google Ads works and you can set up a campaign, you can set up a campaign in each the other platforms too. So yes, it's learning by doing, I would say.
Yeah, it's very different to just learn something in theory compared to getting to experience all the different things and learn from that. I mean, as well, I'll throw you another one, maybe with technical SEO. Like,
Yeah.
it's like a broad question, but do you have any, like, like top 3 technical SEO tips, maybe in relation to international SEO as well?
Yes, so it's really important if you make international SEO, make sure your hreflang is clear on the technical side. Make sure you have fill in all the data in if you're working with CMS. So like canonicals must have been really clear. So and it's really important to write the author, for example, too as tag. And you can write there, for example, one of my content team, his name is Simon, and then you can write Simon from Germany, for example, in this outer tag. And yeah, all the information you can make in the HTML helps the bot to understand where you come from. And then they decide, okay, it's important for this country, for this location. And of course, yeah, always fill out all fields. So what I've seen in the last years is it's important for the overall SEO strategy is the most don't fill in more title or meta description and it's really important to make this. So yes, I know there's a discussion in the SEO world. Do we need it? Yes, we need it. And it's for international SEO really, really important. You can write that too in our office in Cologne, for example. It's a location information the bot gets.
how would you like localize like in the title or title tags and meta descriptions as well?
Sometimes I have this. So if I see there is a page and it's not indexed, or you get the information from the Google Search Console, okay, it's not indexed, and then I take a look why. And yes, and I have made this for a few service partners for a business unit for us, and then I have write down really the location. And yes, then we had seen, okay, now it's indexed, and it was easier for them to get a ranking and to see, okay, they understand what we means, because we have a lot of similar pages, for example. So we sell the same products in the countries, for example, and we have a few same business units. And yeah, so we give all informations we can.
Do you have any like, like any go-to tools that you think, are must for international SEO, or just your general favorites, like keeping track of everything and to check everything is correct?
Yes, I use the same tools I think every SEO uses.
Yeah.
So Google Search Console, our SEO tool is Right. I don't know if you know this. I love this tool because what you see there is if Google tests your sites in the top 3, and this is one feature because we have to make the decision for Right. And then you can optimize the page if you see they make a test and you see, okay, the CTR is not right, so they will not rank you in the top 3. Then you can optimize the page in this way. And yeah, this is the reason, but it has all the features like every other tool has it. So they are so similar. SEMrush is something I use, and yeah, but I think it's, yeah, every SEO has one tool they like and prefer.
Tools will help, but at the end of the day, they'll do the same thing. And it's about the analysis and then getting things done.
Yes, and Screaming Frog, of course. Yes,
Yes.
something I forget, because I think every SEO must have this on the technical side. So it's my absolute favorite for technical mistakes to find out. And yes, I love this tool.
I know another question from the team that, like, I'll let everyone ask questions as well later on, but I know another one was like, I think from your bio, you mentioned that you started off from the copywriting side, and
Mhm.
like, how did you, I know you got the opportunity to go to PPC and then SEO, like, how did you start to learn, like, the more technical side of things? And like, were there any good resources or tips on that, like for some of our content writers here as well?
Yes, for technical SEO, it was for me. I have the colleague who shows me a lot, and it was easy. To be honest, for 10 years, it was easy. You only have to place the keywords right, and then you rank good in Google. And then it's really important to go to the Google Search Central shows with John Miller and Martin Splitt, for example, and Gary. Um, I always been there on the dev tools from Google to see, okay, how I should build a site to a better performing. So it's really important that you always development yourself, and then you got this learning SEO from a later. You find every step. So it comes a little bit later as I started as SEO, but now I love this resource because you find everything there, and you find forwarded links to other resources. GitHub is really good for technical SEO. You get and Collab, for example, if you have some SEOs like Brittany Miller, she makes Python,
Yeah.
and then you can get their scripts for your technical SEOs. So she had created a lot of good resources too. So I'm on a lot of summits. So I'm always on the run. And I think Twitter is really important source too. So if you follow the right persons, then you have a lot of insights and you can always development on yourself. And content was like, I started with content because it's something I really like to create content. So this was the reason why I started as content writer. And then yes, the most clients said, yes, we need SEO content and you have to fill in a keyword here, there, etc. And so I started, yes, to create content because it's something I really prefer. And it was something you can do from home. And I'm home office worker since 14 years right now, because I want to stay home for my son if he comes from school, so somebody's there. And yes, and with content, you could make the most money at this time as I started. So, yeah.
That's important. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, going off the back of that, I know that you also said like, you're really interested in CRO and also with optimizing landing pages.
Yes.
Talk about that more. What tips you have or what you use to test things, any insights?
Yes. What we make is, what I try with every landing pages is to get the first and the last click. So I don't want that the people switch. Yes. And what we make is we try to see the intentions, but also the micro intentions people have. And we try to understand the completely customer or the user journey, for example, the completely user journey. And then we try, yes, to build the landing page this way. So I have really long landing pages. So I have a lot of discussion with the designer. It's too long.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, yes. And I say, my God, do you print it? So we have anchors so you can navigate, navigate a clear structure. But I have a lot of content on my sites, multimedia content on my sites. And I try for these users who want to know more that they find the information on their site. For those people who want to fill out a contact form, it's clear we have it right there, really high on the page, so they can fill out a contact form. And I have a lot of discussion with sales because I only want, for example, an email from the customer, and they want the city, they want the name, they want to know the gender, they want to know everything, and it's something I don't make. So they have the contact form on the side, they have the email, and I think the rest is the job for the sales guys. And from the intention, I try to make it really easy. Okay, information, navigational, transactional, and the micro intentions. I try to find out, okay, we take a look in the data. We have a lot of data, and then we take a look where they bounce, where they go, and we find out with this long pages, we have really good numbers because the people jump with the anchors on the different sites they are interested, and we have seen they stay longer. And on these pages, we have a bounce rate from 30%, and it's really good rate. And they fill out the contact forms or download a brochure. So my tactic is really, really clear. Make the most important above the fold, then the anchors, and then make sure they can fill out a form if they want to. They can click a button for a longer form if they want to, and that they get something not gated, so that they can download a checklist or a white paper for free. So it don't have to be always, we need your email address. So I try to have a few resources they only can take to their boss or something like this. And this works really good. We had much higher conversions. And at this point, we try to make some videos from the social media and put them also on the landing page. We try to have content from the ads that the user find on the site. So we try to see the whole puzzle. And we take this data from all these insights we get. On social media, you have so many insights. So the people are so open on these places. And if you take a look on the competition and they write their comments, then you see, okay, that's their needs. So you can use it. So something like, I don't like this feature in the software, for example. And then we make it on the content world, like we have this feature on our software to help you with this point. So yes, so we try to use the backdoor, and you see your target group because the profiles, you have the photo. Yeah, it's yes, you see in social media, you see the most insights. And then we use this for our strategy, and we switch this. We make a lot of A/B testing um, to check which works best. Yeah, and we find out a persona with the same demographics, for example, is not. It's not a. It doesn't mean it's our target group. So we have an example for King Charles and Ozzy Osbourne. They both have really near demographics, but we are sure they are completely other persons in search. So we try to build our personas really clear and optimize on this way.
How do you go about building your personas? And for the social media part, how do you like cut through the noise on social media? Like there'll be people, spamming and saying all kinds of things. Like, do you use any social listening tools, anything to help with that?
We have tried it with Jacques Toro from, yes, Jacques Toro is it. But in my niche, we are really special. So they don't find really, yeah, so we have to do a lot of manual things. But for other businesses, Jacques Toro is maybe one of the best tools you can use for this. And what we make is hashtag analysis. So most of us use these hashtags, but they never make a research what content pops up on these sites. And we make manual hashtags analysis, put the topics there, and then we find the most important things. And it's really funny because you see different things on Twitter. You have more, yes, it's more negative. And on the other platforms, it's more positive. And yeah, so it's really funny. We have made a long time cross posting. So we have post the same post on Facebook, so on Instagram and LinkedIn, for example. And then we find out, strange, the people go, so follower goes, and then yes, every platform has their special needs too. So now we post other content on the platforms, and we have with this hashtag analysis, you see exactly what the people search and the question they have. And yeah, so I think it's a really, really good SEO resource to
Very
see.
good tip. Yeah,
Yeah,
interesting. It'd be a good way to really understand like customer sentiment as well, which is super important for user intent, anything like that.
yes, and you see your persona really clear because um, in this field you see faces, so you see people, you can jump in profiles. So it's really clear to see, okay, this type is the most persona we have, the most target group. And so we find out, for example, they have a lot of work-life balance topics. So then we try in our magazine to write about work-life balance topics to get them on our page, for example, for other topics, not only please buy our software. So, and it works really good. So they have back problems, for example, and then to make short videos about how you can be fit in work. And it works really good. So they come back to our website, and maybe it's not a hot conversion or a hot lead, but maybe it will be in the future one if they have your brand in the mind. Um, then it's easier to get them. So we have more strategies, not only the buyer persona, we also have the digital persona, we also have the research persona. And I think the most important person is the research persona, because the decision maker listen to this person. And mostly it's not the decision maker who works, for example, with the software. It's the person who make the research. And so we try to get them more on our websites.
Would you do like both, like qualitative and quantitative, like get that both sets of data to build your personas?
Yes, so we make this analysis, and yeah, this is one point. It's not so easy because we have a lot of data protection. So that's the reason why I use social media so much, because this is something, it's free, yes. So my department cannot say, no, we cannot we cannot have this data. So, but we try to make it, and this is something I make with my analytics teammate. Yes, but it's not so easy because we are not allowed to using Google Analytics, for example.
Oh yeah.
So yes,
How
so we
come?
have Matomo. I don't know if somebody knows this,
Yeah, heard of
but
that. Yeah.
yeah, okay, and it's not the same like Google Analytics. So I miss Google Analytics.
So you won't need GA4 then?
Yeah, it's not allowed for us to use GA4.
Then.
But on the private side, I have an account, of course, to see how it works. And yes, I think it's something you have to make a deep dive to know exactly how it works.
Yeah, speaking of deep dives, it'd be cool to hear more about like the A/B testing you've done. Like you mentioned that. What's something that you've done recently that maybe you saw great results from or didn't?
Yes, yes. For example, we have an B2B and a B2C area for a product, and it is at the moment. The B2C is on another domain, and the B2B is on our domain, for example. And we have created a landing page and put this both areas together on this page. So to show the client, okay, this is a product, it's for the doctor and it's for the patient, and it works this way. And this was really nice, and we have tested if it works better. But at the moment, it's if the patients landed on our domain, they had a button, they can switch to the other. But mostly, you have conversions from patients too. So yeah. So, but with this page, it was really interesting. It was clear on the left side is the doctor, on the right side is the patient way, and we got them on the right places. And this was the best thing we ever have made, because we have made it as an underdog project, because it's a little bit political, the customer side and the B2B area, and this was a really nice result. So they understand, also we get feedback like, yes, now I understand it's a product for both, and both need this product. So it was really funny. This was the best results. We make such tests a lot. It's more than so underdog things. And then we go to the management and say, yeah, take a look. It works better if we have the numbers. And this was the biggest project.
So for this, what worked really well was like having them both on the same page, but having like the really clear distinctions between the two groups.
Yes, it was. Now they had seen, okay, this is a project. It works together. It's a product that works together, and it was easier for them to understand. Okay, doctor side, patient side, and then you get the requests from the patients on the patient side and for the doctors on the doctor side, and as we had done it before, it was a mix, so it was not clear for them. They have type in the product name, for example, and then it on the doctor's side, but it was a patient, and then they had fill out the contact form. People don't, yeah, most people don't really read content or understand, okay, this is not my area. And then the hotline was really angry, and it's always like, why did we get the patients? Yeah. So, and with dispatch, it was really clear. Of course, you have some people who fill out a form and is a doctor or a patient, but it's so much lesser. It goes down 35% was the rate that they understand how it works, and the conversion rate gets up too. So maybe it's easy if they understand how it works.
And so
Then
even
they,
if you're on one side, you still need to understand the other side to
yes,
convert.
yeah. So and this was not really clear if you have this on 2 domains. And yeah, it's a big company, and there are little fights. So, but this was a really good project. But we also have made simpler tests. So something like the button is blue, we make the button yellow, or CTR, something like this. We make the contact form on the right side, on the left side. So it's also tests we made. So really little things. Or we started with a question in a title tag, and take a look, rank it better, rank it not better, and such things. So we test a lot what works, and yeah, it makes fun.
What kind of time frame would you usually have for a test? Or I'm sure it can vary a lot before you can make a conclusion.
Yes, I'm someone for so little things like a button. Yes, it's only 2 or 3 weeks if you have a lot of traffic on the page. But for this website, for me, it was really important to have real data and much data, and I've run this test 8 weeks. So I want to see, okay, let's see how the trend is. But mostly we have so until 4 weeks for our tests. So because I want to have really clear data before I go to the management, and I said I want to change something.
And how do you pick like the tests that you think are the most important to choose? Like sometimes you could have like a lot of hypotheses on what's going to improve conversions, but how would you usually prioritize that?
Yeah, this is funny. So it's like as I started last year in May, I've seen a lot of potential for optimization. It's experience over the years. You know exactly, okay, how the pages are built, it doesn't work. How the navigation looks like, it doesn't work. And so I started from this point. Navigation, it's a political topic in my company, so we have always this bad navigation on the site. So I've tried a little bit more in next year. But it's something, there was a lot. Yeah, you've seen this, so I can't explain. It was like, oh my god, this is your landing page, and then okay, we build it this way, and then we have to make a test, and then you go to the management team and said, okay, take a look, we have these numbers, an increase of conversions, but it's more like at the moment it's a big construction, so we have to do much more on the website. But they are so proud of the website, and yes. So it's experience. At the moment, it's like, oh my god, what have you done in the last years? And we have to switch. So for me, where the product sites was important, for example, and now we go to the other sites too.
Well, I'll open up the floor, like if anyone else has any questions for Q&A time.
Yeah. Hi, Veronika. Thanks for your presentation today. I would love to get your thoughts on what are some things to keep in mind from an international SEO point of view when a business or a website is going through a migration Would there be any other things on the technical side of SEO that you have to keep in mind, specifically in a scenario like that?
Oh yes, yeah, we had this scenario. Yes, it's really important. So most companies don't put the advice from an SEO at this point. So they make this migration, and then you have a lot of 404 errors, for example. So 301 redirect isn't set up, and canonicals. Oh, this is the funny point. They had a lot of canonicals set up, and then they migrate, and you see on the Google Search Console, they don't understand what's happened right now because there is a canonical and there's a new site. So yes, if it goes really right, then there have to be an SEO, and you have to take a look if the setups are right. If they decide to make new URL structure, for example, this has happened so much that they really think about, okay, there's an old structure, we have to forward it, we have to take a look on the canonical. If this site is not there, then put it out, and then migrate this site to our system. And there, yes, we have a lot of issues at this point. So we have this problem right now with a sister company from us. So the old domain is active, it seems, but nobody had access to the host or server. So, and we have the new build. So I try to find out how to fix this. And yes, and on international side, it's really important that they also have all the international signs in the migration. So yeah, but most companies make the migration and then they say, okay, something has happened, we need a SEO. And clear concept is really, really, really important, because it goes to your, if you have these issues, so the whole domain gets a bad rating. So yes, but to make it really clear, a clear concept, I prefer Screaming Frog to make analysis from the old domain, and then I really make it really easy. So this is the URL. Do you need this URL? Then delete it if you don't need it, or forward it to your main site, and please take a look on the canonicals. But yeah.
100%. No, that's interesting. I agree. You probably have to spend a lot of time understanding and mapping everything out when you have all those extra hreflang implementation canonicals in the way. Cool. Thank you.
Does anyone else have any questions?
Yeah, just speaking of hreflang, what's some common issues you find with incorrect implementation of hreflang? Is there any like kind of major potholes you've encountered in the past in your career at all?
Yes, because I have these issues with a company I worked before, and they have set off an hreflang, but they don't have set off for the other countries the little point alternate. So they have on all pages it's the main hreflang, and so our SEO tool was SEMrush at this point, and they show what's going on. You have problems with your international thing, and I take a look. I don't understand what's happened, and what often happen is if they create a new website and it doesn't work, and the new website is on all other websites too. Yes, and then you get these issues across the complete international company because of a little thing like a slash. Something is missing in the tag. So, but alternate was the hardest thing I ever seen was missing. So.
Thank you very much, and thanks for speaking today as well.
Thank you.
See if there's any other questions.
Yeah, I've got two questions. doing like a cost benefit, have you ever done like a cost benefit analysis for implementing hreflang, like looking at the cost of the project versus the return for implementation?
No, so at this way, no, we don't have made it, but I think it's a good idea to make it. So.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And I guess I have another question. Do you have any tools that can kind of that you're aware of that can like apply hreflang at scale and make it a bit quicker that you can recommend?
Yes, so I use SEMrush for this,
Yeah.
and there was one online tool that was really good. I don't know the name. Yeah, it's a free tool. It's a checker. It's an international hreflang checker, and it's like it's yeah. So if I find it, I will write an email.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
yeah, because yes, I take this too. Sometimes it's a free tool, so you can take a look, and then they say this way it's the better way, and it's a really good tool,
Right.
and you can
Excellent.
create JSON codes too on this site, but I had forgotten the name,
Okay,
so I
that's all
will
right.
search in my browser. So
I have one more question about do you have much experience with HubSpot CMS?
a little bit, yes, we got
Okay.
it.
Yeah, so I've got a client, this is a very specific question, that is using dynamic content based on IP
Yes,
address,
yes,
mainly just for pricing. And they were saying that, do you know, when it's crawled, it kind of uses the default option.
yes.
And I was just wondering, do you have any recommendations that I could bring to the client for using the HubSpot CMS, using dynamic content versus hreflang like strategy?
Yes, I have made the experience dynamical content doesn't perform so good like if you take hreflang, for example. But in the future, I've heard there are headless CMS, the new. So I'm not sure. Is it shown rightly? So if does it works really good? So or have
Right
they
now,
problems with this?
they've just used it on their pricing page to change currencies. Um,
Yes, and work
and
this?
so basically what's happened is they've done a migration and they had a subdomain with hreflang set up with subfolders, and they've migrated to a main domain without
Okay.
any hreflang, and they've just got it all in English, and then they've changed the pricing. But about 93% of their traffic is in English, and then the majority is in the UK. So it hasn't impacted their traffic that much, just because it was a very minority coming from overseas and other languages. But then we're looking to, this is why I asked the question of what's the cost of implementing hreflang versus the return for them. If they just, you know, use the dynamic content in HubSpot to change the language, maybe if, like I just looked, the majority of the traffic from Italy, for example, is their major, like 2% of their traffic's from Italy. That's the main, like non-English speaking language country. And they only go to like 5 pages. So I was just thinking maybe we just use dynamic content for the HubSpot CMS for those pages, and that will fix most of the issues, rather than doing a hreflang project for them.
Yes, so I think you should invest time for the hreflang.
I should
So
do, yeah.
yes, you should do. Yes, because sometimes yes, the bot is at the moment. Yeah, what should I say? So it's easier for the bot to understand. It's for them clearer as a dynamical way. I'm sure in the future, in 1 or 2 years, it will be. It doesn't matter which kind
Okay.
case you use. But yes, I would invest a little bit time, then you had got to can be secure. You have a clear result. It's understanding, and you can work with this. So I'm not sure if your client want to invest this time.
Yeah.
So the
So
cost or something
they've
like
just
this.
spent all this money on a fancy HubSpot site, and they might have
Yeah.
to change everything again.
Oh
So
God. Okay.
they only brought us in like a month before they started the migration anyway, so we didn't have time to do to do it. Yeah. But yeah. Well,
Yeah.
thanks for that. Yeah, and then the other thing is that you can't have dynamic metadata.
Yeah.
So it's all the metadata is in English. So instead of having the Italian page having the
Oh
Italian metadata just being English, yeah.
no.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is really difficult because yes. So this is something where you can take a look on indexing. How Google interpret this point, because it's an issue. So always if you are in the John Miller talks and he talk
Yeah.
about it, and he said the most important thing is the title tag, and nobody listened to them, and it have to be in the language from the country and the meta, of course, and the dynamical switch always isn't not good sometimes. So of course you can change it after times, but yes, it should be clear, and it should be the same for the indexing time, for the crawling time, for period. And if you don't have the result you want, then you can change it again. But it's in English. Yes, they had problems. So it could be that they don't crawl the site, or they index it not right. So
Yeah, so I think the
something you have
default
to check.
version gets indexed
Yeah.
of the page. So it's like the UK version in pounds gets
Oh God.
indexed.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. They don't understand. So, and this
Yeah.
is really funny. Yes. So they always say it's an intelligent bot, and it knows everything. No, at this point, they don't understand it.
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh, thanks for your help. Yeah. Okay, thank you. Anyone else have a question?
Well, I might stop the recording for now, unless anyone's going to jump in.